Hey, this is Teddy. Everybody's been wanting a greenhouse update, so here we go. Sorry it took so long to get to it, but better late than never, right? So lots of things have happened since the last time I've done a greenhouse update. Put that shade cloth on there that you can see. It's 40%. Really good, works wonders. The greenhouse, I guess it was getting up to 90 degrees. This was what, a month ago? Yeah, so it's April 20th right now. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Yeah, it was like March 20th, around that time, end of March. We were getting really hot already here in Tennessee, like we do. It's funny how that is in Tennessee. We can get really cold weather like we're in the north, and then we get really hot weather like we're in the south. It can happen with like a flip of a switch here. But yeah, shade cloth went on, brought the temps down like instantly from 90 degrees down to like 80, dropped it like 10 degrees. Perfect, really good. Glad I put it on there. Brings the intensity of the light down in the greenhouse too. So anybody that grows plants, you know, you've got stuff in full sun. It grows smaller, tighter, compact crown or set of leaves, or however you want to look at it, after it adapts and it's used to it. And it's just because the sun is just like oppressing it. And then anything that grows in a shadier spot, the leaves are longer, they're reaching for the light, and they grow bigger, to catch as much light as they can. But in the greenhouse, the good thing about the shade cloth and bringing that light intensity down is because it's like everything's magnified in there. You've just got a hot box, so the heat is just oppressive in there. The light coming through, so the way that this greenhouse film works is that, imagine you're getting sunlight coming this way. Well, all the outside plants are getting hit with sun just from this direction. In the greenhouse, it comes through the plastic and it just spreads all the light evenly to all the plants, and you can see it in there. There's not really any shadows. It's all just basically you're getting blasted with full intense sun in there. So shade cloth really helped, brought the intensity of light down, brought the heat down. Very good, especially for summer growing. Next thing I knew that I was going to need to do was, we had just two windows in the back here, one there and one there, and they had the auto open and close hinges on them, which I talked about before. But basically, as this like cylinder would heat up, it would open the window, let hot air out, and then it would close back up when that cylinder cooled down, and close the window like basically for the night. So it was like a day versus night deal. Those literally phenomenal. Best thing that we did for like fall through all of winter was to have those windows. But I knew those were not going to cut it for the summertime. So on both sides we put two bigger windows in also. And then on these ones we also took that window off. The window frame stayed. And on all of them we wired in screen. So they're all screen windows now. The next thing we did, so the screen windows, the purpose of that is to keep bugs out and birds out especially. just, you know, like you ever seen a bird or a bug get in somewhere, there's like an open exit and they just can't see it. They just keep smashing against the thing that's closed and they won't get out. Because we had a bird in here already. This was when we still had the other windows. You can see that hole under that window. That was where I still haven't taped it up. Why, I don't know. I'll do it after this. But the bird kept crashing into the wall instead of flying out of the open window. So the next thing I did was get that solar panel. You can see it behind the chimney there. But solar powered fan off of Amazon comes with the panel, all the wiring, and the fan. And that thing was another game changer. As soon as I hooked it up, it just started blowing air out. So right now, because it's kind of overcast, it still runs, but when the just full sun is on it, it sounds like a damn jet turbine. And it blows the hell out of some hot air out of the greenhouse, which is really, really good. So here we can walk down. Wanted to just give everybody a nice view of the back of it first. Well, here we'll go check it out. So we had enough shade cloth that I pulled it down over the ends to get some down onto the walls. I almost wish I had enough to do the entire walls, but you know, it is what it is. I also think the next time I have to buy shade cloth, I'll do like a 50 or even maybe a 55%, because it's good, but it could really be better. So you can see we left that bracket in there for the window. I'll just screw the hinges back in, take the screen off for the winter time. But you can see this channel and how it works. So the plastic is wired into the channel, and then put the screen over it and wire the screen into it. And now we've got screen window. Made some bigger ones here, let more air flow out. But yeah, you can see the bird flew in. He ended up getting out. He didn't die. So you can hear the fan right now running. And it's still, you can feel it. It's blowing a bunch of hot air out. But when that cloud moves away from the sun, it is gonna sound like a damn jet turbine, I'm telling you. Another big window, another little window. Really almost not even enough, because we had a really, really hot day today. Like, it felt like probably, I don't know, 82, I think, 83 it got up to. And in the greenhouse, it was like teetering at 100 until I went in there and watered and got the heat knocked down. So here's front of the greenhouse. Behind that Apuntia, there's a small window. That was the one that actually had a window, the self-opening window on it. Took that off, obviously screen, put in bigger window here, screen, screen door. So this was covered with plastic over the winter. Sorry, you can see where I had it stapled, plastic over it, but it had a screen under it. So now just lock the screen door shut, and it's basically another window that lets more air through. So it's really good. More airflow, the better. Another big window, little window, same deal. Sorry for harping on that. Yeah, in this other video I just did, I showed where I dug up these Apuntias out of the yard. So now that I've got them in pots, I'm definitely going to start propagating more of these. I've got some of this one in there, and it's up for sale too. But we'll get some of this one, some of this one, some of Linguiformis, and we'll keep going. So all these bagged sable miners were packed into the dang greenhouse too. and it may not seem like a whole bunch until you see that the whole greenhouse floor is still full right now. So we had them up against this like north facing wall, under the tables, little walkways, just wherever the hell we could fit them for the winter time. So I think this year what I'm going to do is go back to my old ways and utilize the garage. And I wouldn't say the least worthy plants, but it'll probably end up that way. The least worthy, I figure it. I'll move those into the garage and let them kind of overwinter in there, just so that I've got enough room to keep potting up stuff. Because that's the problem, is if I start community pots, pot them up, they take up a lot of room. You pot them up again, like I go basically into half-gallon bags. If I go into 1-gallon pots, which is what I do, every time consecutively it's taking up more room in the greenhouse for the same plant. So people wanted an update on the greenhouse. I need to, I guess, explain a bunch of things. People that have cold hardy gardens, in my opinion, should grow as many sable minors as they can get their hands on. That is exactly what my thought process was when I started all these in the beginning. Was I want to be the sable minor guy and have them available for people to sell to, and because that was the biggest thing when I started doing this, growing plants, was I wanted to make a difference. Not a huge difference, not a nationwide thing. Like, you can see the size of my operation here, it's still small. But I wanted people who wanted plants, cold hardy stuff, especially palm trees, to be able to get their hands on it at a cheap price, and them to be able to communicate with me, the person who's selling them. Because I guess I kept feeling over the years, when I really was starting to get into just cold hardy gardening, it was just really, really hard to find all the plants that I wanted. You can't just go to the store and buy this stuff, which is what leaves the door open for me to be able to do it. And then when I finally would find, the guy that had them, it's not that everybody's a jerk or whatever, but it's like trying to strike up a conversation and just talk plants with people is really tough, and I know why that is too, because time is limited, and my time is too. I feel like I'm stretched thin in a million different directions, but anybody messages me, reaches out, you're gonna get a real honest response, and there's no stupid questions, and I always want to make sure that I'm always available to people that want to talk about plants. But here's a good point: if anybody's interested in a bunch of sable minors, even if you're interested in one, just message me and we'll work something out. All these bagged ones, so that I don't have to pot them up again, I'll sell really cheap. So some of them have got, some winter stuff, but they're all putting out really new nice leaves. These are like big 1 gallons at the moment. If anybody wants a cheap sable minor, hit me up, we'll figure something out. We'll sell these off. Here's 15-gallon sable palmetto, Bald Head Island. Can't find it. See how rooty it is. It was in a 7-gallon pot, and it was just full of roots, so I had to put it up to the 15-gallon. There's sable brazoriensis, same thing. Was getting so full of roots that the pot just feels light because there's no soil left in it. Time to go up to a big dog. All right, let's head in the greenhouse. So let's walk back here really quick first. So like I said, today it was like 82 outside. So this isn't the most accurate thermometer, but we were like pegging at like 100 close before I watered in here. And now the sun, it's the afternoon, the sun's over on the west side, and we've got this tree that was blocking the sun when the sun was like right here also. Now the sun is up there and we're getting some western sun. We've got that thermometer, and then we've got the same one over here, and we've got this old beat up one, which you can't even see what temperature it is anymore in there. But I'm gonna end up getting a weather station, and I need it. But with the shade cloth, the windows, the exhaust fan, the screen door, it still gets hot in here. Watering in here, just watering the floors, like even if you're not ready to water the plants, is the same as like a human sweating. It's like that evaporative cooling. It cools it down. But we'll see. It's still springtime. I'm not sure if all this stuff is gonna stay in here all summer. I might have to just clean it out, and this is really just gonna be like a fall, winter, spring greenhouse. And if that's the case, it's fine. I have enough room. I'll move all this stuff out, and it can grow outside during the summertime. If we start getting above 100 and it sits there every day, it's probably what we're gonna need to do. All right, so people want a greenhouse update. I don't know if I had the wood stove in the last in my last update that I did, but that is what got us through the winter. So I had a little propane heater too. That really takes the chill off. When you're like in the 30s, 40s at night, that's really nice to run, even if you're high 20s. But when you start getting down into the low 20s, it doesn't freeze in here. Like there's no physical frost, but it is cold. The temperature, you know, the thermometers are showing it's like 35, which, you know, that's when I'm going to bed. So what is it in the middle of the night? 32, 30? That's not good for growing plants. So I actually got that wood stove from a friend of mine. He had it just out in his field. It is a lot bigger than it looks. You can fit a lot of damn wood in that thing, and that's what's really good. I can load it up, go to bed, and then on the really cold nights, I was waking back up at midnight, setting my alarm, coming back down, loading more wood in it. And then when I would wake up to go to work at 4:30 or 4, I would wake up, get ready, come down by 4:30 down here, load more wood in it, and then it would carry it until the sun came up. And then sun comes up out of the east, you start getting obviously light through the film, and then the greenhouse heats up again. But couldn't have made it without the dang wood stove. Yeah, just have to have it, necessity. So now the other thing is I got to start stocking up on wood. This is like, you know, a night's worth of wood under there right now that I just had left over from the last cold that we had in, what was it, February, I think was the last time we ran it. Gotta have it. Let's see. So a lot of people talk about you can't dig up sable miner. If you dig up a sable miner, you'll kill it. So this is a sable miner that I dug up. The main plant that looked like this just completely died one winter. And then in the bed it was in, like over here, there was some green leaves sticking up. It's like, what in the hell is going on there? So I was gonna dig it out anyways, but I started digging away the mulch over there. Whoa, lo and behold, here's a new growing point coming out. I was like, okay. Main growing point's gone. This was all brown, so I cut all that and kind of dug down and followed it a little bit, and it was just literally just a runner from that softball that's underground, that main growing point, root initiation zone or whatever. And I dug the whole thing up, and then, you know, it was, the growing point was over here, rotated it like it is now. All the leaves that were on it, which was like this leaf, this petiole had a leaf on it. You can see a crusty one back there. This was like an original leaf, but all of it was white. It was just pure white because it was underground. And I posted a picture on Facebook, and people were arguing, no, all that white stuff, everything has to be buried. If you don't bury it, you're gonna kill it. Well, I've dealt with enough plants. I knew where it needed to be planted height-wise in the pot. Planted it, kept it in the shade, watered it, fertilized it, and here we go. Here's the sable miner that I dug up. The same as in my other video, I showed you guys that big sable miner that I planted up in that bed that Gary Holler dug up. And he said he did 12 like that, and I was lucky enough to get the last one. But you can do it. You can dig up sable miner. You just can't damage that growing point, and you have to get as much of the roots as you can. Don't transplant it back into the ground in another spot. Put it in a pot, baby it for a year or two, and you've got a good shot at it living. Trying to bust these myths. You argue with people on the internet and they'll tell you can't do it. You can do it. All right, so let's talk about sable miners. So all these are 1 gallon sable miners, just like the ones that are outside. And then this whole row, all these are sable miners, minus like a couple little Urasanas and a Riverside right here. Other than that, this whole row, all sable miners also. And then what I've got left, these are the beginnings of the sable miners. So obviously they started in a bed outside. I did instead of a community pot, I did an outside bed with 4,000 sable miner seeds, and I think I ended up with roughly around 1,200 by the time I got them potted up into these bags. So here's a nice one. You can see half gallon sable miner. This needs to go in a 1 gallon pot. You can see the roots coming out of the bottom. And then some are just really, like this one is a lot lighter than that one I just picked up. It's just pushed out so much soil. It's hard to keep them wet. But these are the last ones that I've got in little bags that I just bought some more 1 gallon pots, and these are all gonna get potted up soon. So this is what I was trying to say. So I've got 3 wide up here on this shelf, and this thing was full. I've been selling some of them, and I try to throw an extra in anybody's order that makes an order on eBay from me. I'll almost literally every single time somebody orders something, I'm throwing in one of those sable miners because I know I need to get rid of them too. That's the last one that's left, and I've got just coming out of my ears 1 gallons. Got that whole row outside that I need to pot up, and then I've got a bunch of 3 gallons also. Let's see. Yeah, so there's some bigger 3 gallons in the back there. Some of them looking really nice. Some have split leaves. Here's another one. If anybody's interested in sable miners, you buy a bunch, I will cut you a deal and get you taken care of. Let's see, back over here. What I really like are yucca rostradas. I've had trouble getting my hands on a reliable seed source, and I keep waiting on my big yucca rostradas up in the yard to flower every year. As soon as they flower and I get seed, I'm gonna be in the rostrada game. I'm gonna have rostradas laid thick just like these miners. Those are a good seller, but in the meantime, I got some small plants and potted them all up. There's a bunch of 1 gallons here, some 3 gallons, but like this is a good example of just need to cut some of the old dead leaves off of it, but that's a really nice 1 gallon. If I don't say it, I just thought of it in my head. Literally anything you see in the greenhouse is for sale. Even if it's a plant for me, like those taller yuccas in the back, I'm rooting and those are for me. If you really, really want it, I will sell you anything in this greenhouse. Just like that Mediterranean fan palm, which I need to clean up. It's got a bunch of weeds in it, but this is really cool because it's in a pot and it's pretty small, but it's flowering. You can see it right there. It's got a bunch of heads on it. If somebody messaged me, hey, I have to have that Med fan palm, we agree on a price, I will dig it out of that pot and put it in the equivalent plastic pot, and I will ship it to your front door, no questions asked. This is supposed to be a business, and it is. I sell a lot of stuff, and what it does is it gives me access to a lot of free plants too. And I like just playing with plants, even if they're just in pots. It's fun and it's really enjoyable to me. I get to come in here and just literally play around with all these different plants whenever I feel like it. So if you're a plant person, you get it. When you're in a nursery or in a greenhouse, you kind of just feel like a little giddy kid, and it can turn into work for doing all this stuff too. Is definitely another like thing that kind of keeps me hitched to being here. It's hard to go on vacation, it's hard to get away, because I've always got something to do. I've always got orders coming in, I've always got to box them up, I've always got to water everything in here, just trimming dead leaves, doing some kind of maintenance to plants in here, like literally all the time. Every day there's something that I can be doing, and usually the weekends is what really does it. It takes a lot of my time, but I get to get my hands dirty and play with plants and trade with people and talk to other plant people, and like I said, it's really rewarding just to be able to get plants into people's hands that want them, that can't find them anywhere else. That literally makes it all worth it. If anybody knows who TN Tropics is, he's a buddy of mine down in Murfreesboro. He has got, I would say, arguably the nicest yard in Tennessee. He has got the cold hardy protection figured out. No nicer windmills. I mean, damn, he's got Butea, Palmettos, Birminghams, Brazoriensis, dwarf sable miners, Waggies. He had, this got definitely national attention on Palm Talk. Was his big mule palm that he had. But if you already know who I'm talking about, go and like some of his videos, and go tell TN Tropics I said what's up. If you don't know who I'm talking about, look it up on YouTube, TN Tropics, watch his videos. If you're into cold hardy palm trees, he's got the protection figured out down to a science, and he explains it to everybody else on how to do it, and literally a valuable resource in the cold hardy gardening world. And for right now, it's free. He gives all his advice for free, so just go check him out. Anyways, I mentioned him because he deserves a shout out. But all these seeds that started all these palms in here, I think there's a row of just Fortunae in the back. Like, I think if I grab this one, I think this is just a Fortunae. Oh, so this cross is wrong. This really should be a Wagnerianus bi Fortunae. That's the cross, and he corrected me recently. And I'm gonna relabel all this stuff, and the next time I list stuff for sale, it will be correct. But over the winter, you can see this is just normal, especially the greenhouse would get really hot in the days and really cold at nights, so it wasn't like anything was really hardened off. Took some weird little damage, but it's all growing out of it. So now we've got fan leaves. It's really nice 1 gallons. We got a bunch of them here, but what TN Tropics did was he took and crossed one of his Fortunaes with one of his Wagnerianus, and these are the offspring after, oh, I don't know, this is what, year 3 for these things. So this is a good time to show the space issue, and then I'll get back to those. So all this room on this top shelf, it was filled with all of those. So another little segue here. You will not have every plant live. If you start 100 seedlings, they're gonna look super good at first when you pot them up, and then 1 will die just for no reason. Then 5 will start looking bad after a little while just for no reason. And then maybe the rest of them will grow until they get to like the next stage. And then you'll notice some are just a lot weaker than the others. And you've got some like sitting back while the others are growing. This is just completely normal, and this is a normal thing with growing plants. If you want to end up with 10 plants, grow 20 plants to start with, and don't feel bad if you have to cull the weak ones and throw them in the compost pile. But all those 1 gallons I just showed you, there was a ton of them up here, and this is probably the wrong place for them because this is a really hot spot up here on this top shelf. But I've got a lot of them left that I need to pot up. So these are that same, again, the cross should be the other way around. This is a Waggy bi Fortunae. But here's a nice one growing out of that winter stuff. Needs to get potted up. Oh yes, this was my point. Yeah, let's take one of these. Walk over here. So you can see how much less space that takes up than a 1 gallon. No, it's not a third as small, but definitely half. Yeah, like you can get halfway across the pot with that one, and then halfway across. Yeah, so it's about half the size. So this was to my point earlier. When you start potting up to 1 gallons, you got to have more room. If you're not selling the stuff that you got, you're not growing the right stuff, or you're at least not getting in touch with the right people that want to buy the stuff that you're growing. So for me, this I didn't finish my point when I was outside. Sable minor, just a standard sable minor. I don't think I'll ever grow them again. The thing that people are really after, like this whole top row up here, these are all sable minor McCurtains. So even wrapping around up to like the window. So the next time I grow any sable minors, I told myself I'm gonna grow a cultivar that people want, and people want Sable Minor McCurtains. So there you go. I've got a ass load of them. When those get potted up to 1 gallons like this, they will fly off the shelves and sell out, because people want a McCurtain because of the, you know, the cold hardiness that comes with it. Standard Sable Minor, I've sold a bunch recently, but they're just not selling as fast as I thought. So I've got them coming out of my ears right now. Hopefully when they get some really good spring, summer growth on these, and we trim all this old stuff off, we'll kind of rebrand and remarket. And what I haven't done is put a lot of plants on Palm Talk for sale recently, but hopefully we'll get these things moving. What we did on Facebook was we did, I post in a lot of the groups on there for sale that allow it, like Zone Pushers allows it. I think people that love palm trees, that's another group. I think they allow selling on there too. Literally posted buy 2 get 1 free, and had a bunch of orders go out. I think I probably sold 60 or 70 of these 1 gallon Sable Miners like that. And that's the problem, is that you still can't tell a difference. The whole greenhouse is packed full, minus like these spots on shelves where I sold a bunch of these, and then those were all Sable Louisianas in 1/2 gallons. I sold a shit ton of those because that's what people want. People want Sable Louisiana. So this was, again, segueing back to my original point. Excuse me. You've got to grow what people want to buy, or else you're just going to grow stuff for yourself and you know, have 500 Sable Miners still like I do. I will post these again for sale. I took them down because they needed to do this spring flush here, where they're starting to look really nice again, because all they were was this spotty old stuff, which is normal. But now a bunch of them are looking really nice. A lot of them have split leaves, a lot of them have palmate leaves. If you're interested in getting a palm tree, hybrid windmill palm seed cross came from TN Tropics from his yard, send me a message and I'll hook you up. I've got some standard Fortunae in here somewhere. I think they're in the back row. Without digging, I've got standard Fortunae in there also. But after spring, summer, and these 1 gallon pots, they'll look really good. My daughter, she got me a seed pack for my birthday last year that was marked Yucca Gloriosa, which I love Yucca Gloriosa. But this is clearly not Yucca Gloriosa. Yuccas don't have spines on the leaves, they just have a terminal spine. But agaves have terminal spines and spines on the leaves. So the seeds between yuccas and agaves are really similar. They're like a flat black corn kernel, like, but flat though. And it almost seems like it's not gonna grow, especially if they're really dry. It's like, what, when you look at it like this, surely this thing's not gonna grow anything, but it does. But this is what the greenhouse is all about. So this is kind of, again, to the point of what I was saying. You'll get like really nice looking strong ones, like even these smaller ones, they're still good plants right there. And then these ones over here. And then you can see there's some empty pots and some crappier looking ones. That is like picture perfect. You start plants from seed, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get some good ones, some bad ones, some dead ones. And if you want a certain amount, grow more than you think you want. This was another little trial I did with Hesperalo seeds. I don't know. They're kind of hanging in there. We'll see what they do. These are rooted opuntias from those first big pots that I showed outside. But these are all rooted and ready to go. You can see how long the spines are versus the pads, and they stay really small. As far as like the pad size, they don't grow to like a big pad size, but super cold hardy. But they're very recumbent. They lay down, they don't stand up, and they'll flower every year and clearly turn into a giant patch, because that was one. Oh yeah, they're right outside the window here. Yeah, that was one patch that grew, and I grew that from one pad. So buyer beware. But if you love plants, give me a shout. These are posted on eBay too. And please, like, so what I do on Facebook, or if anybody hits me up on YouTube, is I do business through PayPal. Some people send me a check or cash in the mail too. I'll do that, that's fine. But if you feel more safe using a surefire way of payment, go on eBay, and all my stuff is posted on there. Or you can send me a message, hey, I seen this in your greenhouse video, I want to buy it, and I'll post a listing, and you can buy it on eBay, and you'll have, you know, buyer protection. Make sure that you get what you paid for, and I'm not gonna do anything funny with your money, which I wouldn't, but if that makes you feel more comfortable, please do it that way. But these are posted for sale. These opuntias, I actually have to box up an order of them as soon as I get done with this. So this is kind of my agave yucca corner over here. This is that Faxoniana by Rostrata that I dug up in my other video. So there it is, potted. We'll keep it in here, let it grow. What are those two? Agave Celsi multicolor. I had like 4 or 5 of those. I'll sell some of those. Sell those too if you're interested. There's Agave Folifera. Those are 2 yuccas that I'm gonna plant. Friend of a friend gave them to me. He said they were yucca Faxoniana, but I've got Faxoniana and they have filaments and these don't, so there's something different, but they do trunk. I've seen a picture of these. He had a 9-foot one of these, so see what that does. Yeah, like right here's a Faxoniana, and you can see the filaments on it. So I don't know, it's something different, but we'll see. So there is some agave avatifolia. So I try to keep those and get some small ones, grow them up, sell them. I know how much I like them. That's like the most cold hardy big agave that I can grow. But these are some really nice blue colored ones. Those are for sale. There's some really nice agave havardianas. Those are for sale. There are 2 yucca brevifolia Joshua trees. I need to try one in the ground here. So I bought a few in the past, smaller than even that, and killed them just in a pot. So I've kind of got my chops about me now. So we'll give those 2 a fair shake and see what they do. Last time I went to North Carolina, a friend of mine let me dig up some allifolia that he had growing. So this is an allifolia that was growing in full sun in pure sand. and it has a really small head. It's just dwarfed the features on it, but it's an allifolia. This is also an allifolia on the same property. Notice the difference. Look how big the head is on that. This whole thing is the head. This was growing in pure shade under pine trees. So this is what I was talking about in I think my other video was sun versus shade. You can see what they do to plants. Oh no, it was about the shade cloth earlier, yeah, in this video. Now, like, the sun is on in here, and it is not in the shade in here by any means, but it's filtered, and it blocks some of it out, and it's definitely more healthy for plants than in the wintertime. Coming through the film was great with no shade cloth. As soon as it hit like middle of March, it was blazing hot in here without the shade cloth on. But there's a nice view of full sun, small, compact growth, shade, big, wide, long growth. It's just what how plants respond to different amounts of light. Let's see, we've got Opuntia Santa Rita in the back. I've killed that a few times in the ground, so that's my nice potted one. When it gets a little bit bigger, I'm going to start propagating that. There's an Opuntia basilaris in the back there, looking funky like they always do. Same thing, I've killed that in the ground here, but I still like it, and other people do too. So when that gets big, put in a bigger pot and propagate that for everybody. So here's some more bigger sable minors that are in 3-gallon pots. So these are the same thing, like and these are the same age too. So this in that bag is the same age as this one. It just hasn't been potted up. So this one went into a 1-gallon, and then it went in from a 1-gallon into a 3-gallon. And that should be putting out some big growth this year. Then we got a bunch of random stuff that I get from people. A couple bottle brushes. There's another one right there, 3 of them. There's 2 of that trifoliate orange. This one needs to get potted up, fertilized, and might have some little spider mite stuff going on in there. Why it's got that leaf color, but I think I'm gonna plant those out. Here's something cool you can do with a greenhouse. Had this jalapeno plant last year. It looked just awful in the greenhouse, but there you go. It's flowering, fruiting. It probably won't do anything crazy this year. They don't like to be multi-year plants and be really voluminous with like fruiting on the second year, but it can be done. There you go. Same thing with this one. That's what is it? Bahamian goat pepper is exactly what that is. So last year we didn't get any peppers. Now we're flowering. Hopefully we'll get some this year. There's key lime plant, key lime tree, lemon tree. My wife wanted those really bad. I don't know. We had a bunch of flowers before in the lime tree. We'll see if we get any fruit this year. Bunch of these 1/2-gallon sable minors. Need to pot all those up. There's some more curtains, from up there. Some Tamaulipas, sable Tamaulipas. I had these posted, and then like I said, sometimes you get weird stuff happen. Certain ones just start looking raggedy. This was in the same batch. This one looks really good. Versus its brother right there. So sometimes I'll post stuff for sale, and then one thing I always do is if I've got 30 plants, let's say, I only post 10 at a time for sale, because sometimes people hit me up on a different platform. Sometimes I've had people buy, like if I have 10 listed for sale, somebody buys all 10. So if one of the 10 that I've got, like I've got 9 that all look like this, and then 1 that looks like this, I'm not selling that to anybody. I can't. It's still worth a shot. Like it's gonna recover in here for me, but I can't sell that to anybody. So what I always do, like for the McCurtains up there, like I have those half-gallon McCurtains for sale on eBay. I think I've got like 30 listed for sale, but there's like 300 up there. I'll never post as many as I have for sale, because I always want to pick out the best ones and give them to people. And then if people stop by my house too, people hit me up at work, people get a hold of me in different ways, and then I always want to make sure I have enough and never run out and look like a bozo selling stuff. So let's see if we could do, all right, yeah, this will explain a lot. So this is what I used to do, community pot. So that's Sable Brazoriensis. I would put however many seeds I wanted to in there, but like in a 1 gallon pot, put like 40 seeds. Cover it with soil, cover the seeds with soil after I soaked them overnight. Cover the pot, like I think I threw the bag out. Yeah, I didn't need it anymore, but what I normally do with a 1 gallon is put a 1 gallon bag over it, like a storage bag, the freezer bag, and put that on the heat mat in my bedroom. And then when these get big, like next stage would look like this. Those are Sable Bermudanas, by the way. But like when the pot that I just showed you, those Brazorienses get this size, then they'll get longer and get this size, like these Sable Minor McCurtains, and start having multiple leaves on them. That's when they're ready to be potted up. And then dump the whole pot out, separate the individual seedlings, and then the individual seedlings will go in these half-gallon bags. That's just a good size for Sable palms, because it gives them a lot of root depth to grow into. They can stay in that bag for quite some time. So like this one, for example, this has been in there for a while, but if it got potted up and it's this size, that palm and this palm, which needs to go in a 1 gallon and has been in this bag for I think 3 years, they can stay in there for quite some time. But yeah, separated, go in there, half gallon goes into 1 gallon, 1s to 3s. And then you kind of got to make a choice. What do? You go 3 to 5, or do you go 3 to 7, which you can. But we've I guess my point I was trying to get at was I've always got community pots going, and always have multiple different species going of stuff. So like these are Chamaerops humulus variation volcano. These seeds came off of a volcano, and these would be like similar to a Sable Palmetto Lisa. You're not sure what you're gonna get until they grow out and grow bigger. They could revert back to a standard med fan palm, or you could hold that volcano trait. But this is what I need space in the greenhouse for, is these will be a big seller if they turn out to being volcanoes. But I've got to wait probably 4 or 5 years into 1 gallons just to see what variety they're going to be. If they're standard fan palm, they're still a seller for sure. But if they're volcanoes, you can sell them double, triple the price because of what they are. And that's just the name of the game. So I've got 4 trays of that. 1, 2, 3, 4 trays of those. So you can see it's just, that's the real estate it's got. Got to pick and choose what you got in your greenhouse. Stuff takes a lot of space. So like these are all sable yappas. A couple years ago when I was getting ready, and I didn't even have the greenhouse ready yet, but I knew it was going to be ready. In my mind, I was like, okay, what I need to do is get some really cool palms that nobody else is growing. So that's what these are. You really cannot find anybody growing sable yappa. They're really rare. Now I've got a ton of them here. Are these all gonna sell out? No, probably not. But and the reason is the market is so small. Like these are really not a cold hardy palm. I don't even know if you can go North Florida with these. You might need to get down a little ways closer to Orlando, and then like out west, California, Arizona, New Mexico, South New Mexico, South Texas, stuff like that. Then you've got a place for these, but they're definitely rare. Nobody grows them. So I've got a bunch of real estate dedicated just for these. Pot them up to 1 gallons, and then when they start getting a little bigger, these will be kind of a big hitter. So let's see, what do we got next? Sable Minor Wakula Dwarf. Sorry, the neighbor dogs are barking. But yeah, Sable Minor Wakula Dwarf. These are cool. I like growing a lot of dwarf stuff. People seem to like them too. I've got a couple more dwarf varieties also. I really like them. Blountstown Dwarf, Chippewa Dwarf, Apalachicola Dwarf. These are all really cool ones. But like I said again, everything that you see in here is for sale. If something catches your eye, hit me up. We'll make a deal. I guess let's go back here. So we had Yappa, and then so here is Sable Palmetto Lisa. This is the same as the volcanoes, like I mentioned before. All these seeds came off of a Lisa in Florida. Pot them up. Wait 4 or 5 years until they're either gonna have. So what? If anybody's not super familiar with like a Lisa, so here's a palmetto, right? And that just has a split leaf from a very young age. Like, let's see, here's palmetto, so you can see it's got that really strappy, thin foliage to it. Let's see, yeah, here's a palmetto that split pretty young. So what a Lisa will look like is it will hold like these really cupped leaves. Like if I fold this one backwards, it'll have like a cupped leaf like that, but way bigger. And like the leaflets just stay fused, but people really like it. It looks cool. So fast forward 5 years, pot these up, take a bunch of room in the greenhouse. water them, fertilize them, take care of them, and maybe we'll have some for sale. And whatever's not Lisa will just be, you know, reverts back to standard palmetto, and there you go. We'll sell those as standard palmetto also. Let's see, let's not go too much further. Up here is some sable bermudanas. Those are looking really nice for how old they are. And then these are all sable maritimas. These are another one that I got when I got those yappas. I got maritimas, yappas, causariums. I feel like something else that I shouldn't grow. I say that, but you know, they're not for here. They're not cold hardy. But you got to have a certain climate to grow these. So that's why I wanted to grow them. Was can't find them. They're not available. When they get a little bigger, I've got them. I'm selling them. I'm the one that'll have them. That's the whole premise behind it. So one of the holy grail things, let's go back over here. Those are all Mexicanas in the back, by the way, in 3 gallon. Not looking super great right now. Need to put some good growth on before they're really ready, but another one that I really like. So one of the holy grail kind of palms is silver sable urasana. People just can't find them, and I went to the Southeastern Palm Society meeting, met with some people that I'm friends with on Facebook, and lo and behold, I got like, I think 5 of them. So here's 3 left, 1, 2, and 3. And these are in big, tall citrus pots. But I can almost see why these are so rare. They seem like super finicky. Like, I grow sable palms a lot. They're all super similar, from sable minor to yappa, maritima, palmetto, Mexicana. It's all really similar. These, for some reason, are just really sensitive. Like, what I did was, these were really far down in the pot, like down here. I pulled them out, put some soil on the bottom, put them back in, stuffed some soil around the roots, and they just like took like a damn nosedive after I did that. Leaves started looking crappy, lost some leaves, they just dried up. So trying to get these to recover and then be ready to sell. But I got some seedlings also of silver urasana, and same thing, seedlings, super sensitive. I think out of like 8 that I bought, I've got like 2 or 3 left. I don't know, one of those weird finicky unicorn palms that if I had seed now, if I get my hand on seed, I'd be in business, because then it's me doing it from the start. And I guarantee that it would work out good. Anybody knows where to get silver sable urasana seed, tell me, hook me up, I'll pay for them, I don't care, let me know. So here is all my new crop of community pots, which I need to water these anyways, so I'm sure somebody is interested in what all these are, so I will unveil them. So there's Yucca brevifolia Joshua tree, like the 2 that I showed. I got a reliable source for seed of those. And what I always did, which is a good mention before, is I would do like even smaller than 1 gallon, like a quart size pot I would start seeds in. And then I kind of learned my lesson a little bit, went up to 1 gallon. But the seedlings are still really small that you separate and put into a pot. They're like, you know, this size, 1 leafer, little second leafer coming out. and they're more sensitive at that stage to everything, to drying out, to being overwatered, hot, cold, full sun, really, really sensitive. So I took kind of a cue from one of my mentors, Gary Holler, who's been in the palm game forever. He throws seeds in 5-gallon buckets, leaves them in the greenhouse, leaves them, you know, until he feels like potting them up. And by that point, he's pulling out, like, his seedlings look like that Mexicana. And that is the first, it's getting separated out of the community pot, and that is the first pot up. Established roots, just way more hardy in general at that age than the ones that I showed. So I need to water these anyways. So let's do a little tour of what I've got. So there's Chamaerops humulus, that's just standard form. None of these have come up yet. No need to just look at a pot with dirt. But you can see the different stuff that I've got. Sable Louisiana from my friend Frank Glavin. If you need seeds, hit him up. I think, what is his name? I think he's the Palm Hunter on Palm Talk, or maybe he's just Frank Glavin. But he's on Facebook, Frank Glavin, or the Palm Hunter. You can get a hold of him. He's all these different species in here. He's got seeds of all of them and more. All the tropical palm trees. He's got cycads. He's got all kinds of stuff. If you want seeds, hit him up. He'll hook you up. So I got Sable Louisiana from him. I had to mark it that way because I've got Sable Louisiana from me. There's Sable Pumos. Nobody's got those. Those just came out off of a tree in Georgia. Long-standing tree, but it never fruited, so it kept getting misidentified as something different. Finally flowered and seeded, and the seeds, literally, no joke, not with the fruit, without the fruit, are the size of a small grape. So at that point, easy identification, Sable Pumos. I got my hands on some seeds, and again, if you're first to market and you're the only one that's got it, it's really easy to beat out your competition because there's nobody competing with you. So we have those for sale when they come up. Let's see what we got here. Nanorops rectana. People really like those. There's a bunch in there. Needle palm. Let's see. Sable Tamaulipas. Chippewa dwarf, Sable minor, Chippewa dwarf. Those are uncleaned and old seeds. I marked it that way just so I know whether I get really good germination or really bad germination. I wanted to know. Normally I always clean all my seeds. That's why I marked it that way. Sable minor Blountstown dwarf. More Sable Bermudana. People really like those that can grow them. Sable Louisiana, and I put house because that's from here. Got there. And then just standard Sable Palmetto from Frank again. So all those community pots, there's, I think the least amount in any of those is 100 seeds. And I also wanted to do them in those bigger pots that way so that if I don't have room in the greenhouse, I don't feel such a crunch to pot them up like I do out of a 1 gallon. Like those McCurtains, those are all, that is the community pot that all those up there got potted up from. So I don't need any more McCurtains. If anybody wants to just buy that community pot, hit me up and I'll sell it to you just to get it off my hands. Otherwise I'm gonna have to do something with it. That many I don't feel good putting in the compost. Better if one of you buy it. Let's see, there's a Livistonia chinensis. That's in a tall tree pot. Here's what's supposed to be a Sable Louisiana in a tall tree pot. See the root growth there, the heel sticking out. But I bought all these in tree pots. I bought at the that Palm Society meeting. There's another Sable Louisiana. That one's going in the ground here unless somebody really wants it and they buy it from me. I planted one up the hill already. The one I planted up the hill, I took my one last big Nanoprops that I had. This was in a 1 gallon pot, but the roots were busting out. So I used that empty tree pot and put it in there. That is another plus of being in the plant game, is you always got pots that you can reuse. Comes in handy. So yeah, Sable Minor McCurtain, hit me up if you want it. You've got, my God, 200 seedlings in there probably. Sable Bermudana, pot those up too. Here's some Nanoprops Rictana in here. So this is exactly what I was talking about with here's a good selection. Like here is like a dynamite white colored seedling, beautiful. Dynamite green color all in the back. That one too. Some mediocre ones in there, and then died, basically dead. Gonna die. It just happens, especially with ones like this. Nanoprops are more sensitive, grow weird compared to other palm trees, and some will just die. They're notorious for that. There's some more. That one's pretty nice. A couple more nice ones there. Here, oh yeah, this is the other one I was thinking about that I got seeds of that I shouldn't have grown, or that are not from here. All those little 4-inch square pots, these are all Sable Moratiformis. So these are really cool. Super not cold hardy, but they've got that white silver underside to the leaves. It's really hard to see. The lighting is not showing it properly on the camera, but that's a good telltale sign for those. Let those grow in those pots a little bit more and then pot them up. There's some Etonias back there that aren't looking great. This one looks like it's gonna pull. Oh, not yet, but that middle spear is dried up. There's a bigger Etonia that looks better. I don't know why nobody's interested in Etonia. Tried to sell them a few times. I don't know what the deal is. Nobody likes them. I like them. Sable Birmingham, that one's sold. Sorry, can't sell it to you. Here's some Etonia seedlings. If anybody's interested in those, I will have more. Pot those up. Same thing. Same exact scenario. That one's gonna die. Those two died. One more dead back there. All the rest look good. Just how it goes. Here's the end of the Lisa row. These, I actually just had my daughter pot these up. So last summer I had my middle daughter work for me and help pot up seedlings, and now I've convinced my youngest daughter to help me do it to make a little bit of money. But these are all Sable Minor Appalachicola dwarfs from Tom McClendon, and I guess this is a good time to segue into this. So let's see. Yeah, this is the old soil that I used to use. It's got some fungal growth in there, which is normal, but this was a topsoil, bag topsoil made from hardwood trees. So basically, if you know anything about soil mechanics stuff, you go from like, with wood material, you go from like mulch to broken down mulch, like finer broken down mulch, which it makes kind of like muck, and that's what you would call like humus, wood humus. And then it breaks down even further into like humic acid, and that's really good for plants and just soil in the ground by itself. And that's what that hardwood soil did, is it breaks down into like basically like just it's just like thick sludge in the pots, and the soil's really heavy to begin with. There's not a lot of airflow through it. So what I did was I changed over to just this soil conditioner, which is, I try to pick up a thing or two on all my travels, and all the old timers I run into that are growing palm trees, grow them in basically like a pine fines mix, like pine bark mulch, not hardwood bark mulch. And any you know, all these palm trees that I've had from them, I always thought about over the years, why is the goddamn pot so light? Like, it feels like it's not watered. It's gonna, you know, it's dried out, it's gonna die. It's super healthy. The pot's full of roots. It doesn't die, and it also is moist. But like I just watered today, and it almost takes a while, I guess, for this pine fines to kind of get settled and be able to absorb moisture. But you can basically like see the water like percolate through it. Like you can see the little holes in there. And growing like cactus and succulents, that's what people always say is like, you know, you've got a good mix when you can hear the water percolate through your soil medium. But what I realized was, with that hardwood soil, it was kind of suffocating some palms and some other plants that I was growing. So I'm trying to make this transition and switch over to the pine fines mix. And this is one of my first endeavors, is all these Apalachicolas. Here is this waggy that I dug up from up the hill. It's in a 15-gallon pot now. Got some trunk on it. This was something was eating at the base. So I wanted to dig it up, and you can see a little bit of winter stuff on it, but most of the leaves look really good because I protected it. We'll keep it in the pot, let it recover, replant it or sell it later on. There's some causariums, sable causariums back there. Those are all the hybrids from TN Tropics. More sable miners down there. Oh, that's a sable riverside that I dug up just recently. I had it planted against the foundation, kept getting knocked back every winter, so I dug it up, put it in a pot. It's already pushing green growth. Not saying it'll 100% survive, but it looks promising. And then when it fills out that that pot, I'll have it for sale, because it's definitely not a winner here. This is kind of my mixed bag row over here. All down through the middle, I've got all kinds of weird stuff. Palmettos. There's a few Livistonias that I potted up. Some unknown stuff in here too. Let's see, some bigger Bermudanas. So they're starting to look pretty nice. I think I've got like 4 or 5 of those. And some sable Tamaulipas, yeah, some bigger ones that I didn't sell yet. And then sable Louisianas, that whole last row over there, we got those potted up already this year, ready to grow. Needle palm that's already sold. Oh, we missed some stuff. Here's Washingtonia foliifera. These are pure foliifera from Coachella Valley, California. My friend, when he gets time, goes out and likes to hike in the desert and knows where these are at. So there's millions of seeds on the ground. He's not harming anything by picking up some seeds, but he picked up some seeds, let me have some, started all these. Got nice 1 gallons now, got nice half gallons. Half gallons are posted for sale on eBay. If you're interested, hit me up. Those should be about as cold hardy as you can get. No chance of those being a hybrid with a Robusta or anything like that. So the next thing I've been trying to get into is growing some cycads from seed, which is what these are. These are Revoluta by Titangensis. So these are a hybrid here. These are a little bit older ones. These are Cycas Gligensis. All these that say BTD, these are all Blountstown dwarfs. So I started a really good rip of these a few years ago. I think these are 4-year-olds now. And you can see, like, I've got all the like decent ones still grouped over here. But all the 5-leafers I already sold off. And then these are like the middle ground strugglers a little bit. And then there's some even, you know, worse strugglers in here, which I need to pot up a little bit more, but I really like those Blountstown dwarfs. I've got some potted into 1 gallon. I think, let me see, where is that it? No. Yeah, like that one's potted up to 1 gallon. And I've got a few of those like that, getting ready for when the person that needs to have them calls. I'll have them. There's a few little Chippewa dwarfs that I've got. Sable Birmingham, more Sable Birmingham up there, 3 layers deep. What is that, pygmy date palm, sat in here all winter, kind of sulked a little bit, coming back. More half gallon Sable Minors, forgot about those. This table was stays in my basement, which I've got like a big picture window that lets in a lot of light through the wintertime. But I moved this down here and then moved a bunch of my cactus and yuccas and little baby agaves and stuff down here. And then I think eventually I'm gonna put another table like that over there on that side. Because this is kind of a dwindled version of what it usually looks like. This thing was packed full. I've got shelves in my basement packed full in front of that window. My bedroom has a smaller table, like about this long but higher, in front of my bedroom window, packed full of plants. So bunch of weird stuff in here. Some baby Rita, some mammillarias, some trichosarius, what do you call it, Cylindropuntia spinosaur. I want to try that again. I got, what, 2 there and another one over there. Got some imbricatas going. What, 3 there. There's another one there. Some more Opuntias, different varieties, Santa Rita, Noto cactus, some little agaves that I dug up in the yard, more Noto cactus, Santa Rita, big form, Basilaris, some yuccas that are just for me, let's see, Yucca Shadii, Yucca Shadigera, and that one's Baccata by Alata hybrid. Euphorbia I got as a gift a few years ago. And then always some weird stuff, oddball. Got some mountain laurel too. So under my deck, I've got, I don't know, probably 3,000 pots of all different sizes. And then behind that wall over there, under this little shade thing, I've got hundreds of bigger pots. But what I always keep in here is 1 gallon pots primarily. And then I've always got like a stock pile of those half-gallon bags that I use. And then this is kind of my potting area. Dump a bag in here so I can pot up, use that empty bag as a trash bag, and sit here and pot them up and put them on the shelves and offer them for sale. So again, you can message me on YouTube. You can find me on eBay, Teddys Nursery. That's my my shop name. And feel free to reach out. No prices are final. We can always figure something out and make a deal. And what I really like to do is, if you buy enough stuff, I like to always throw in free stuff. If anybody has any requests, you want me to grow something for the next few years, give me some ideas and I'll do that too. Appreciate you watching. Bye.